Well, first of all, welcome to one of the sunniest days of the year, which is outside, which is absolutely beautiful, and we're all stuck indoors.
Tennis.
Yeah, at least we've got good company.
Yeah.
I believe we should have had. I'll come to Keith. We should have had a slight video or a video to show. Tell us something about it, and then we can look forward to it sometime in the future.
Okay. As I mentioned last week, Jimmy O'Donnell from Lancashire Memories, one of our great supporters and guest speakers, and you know, the guy who comes with the mangle and the tin bath and the carbolic soap and all the rest of it. He's produced a special sports-themed video, a 1-hour video for the Sporting Memories clubs in Leyland and Chorley and Preston, the Lancashire clubs that are established. And we invited him to join us for a few minutes for this afternoon session, but I'm pleased to say he's actually got a booking where he's not available to join us because he's actually leading an open-air singing sing-along session in the gardens of the care home on the Fylde coast. So Jimmy sends his best wishes to us, and he actually sent a video to us, a 2-minute video, just to introduce himself and to set the scene. But unfortunately, for some reason, the link has gone missing, or the contents of the video. So unfortunately, but Jimmy would have been saying something like, it's great that I've been able to support the Sporting Memories clubs in Lancashire by producing this special video that's been requested and paid for by the members of the Leyland Sporting Memories Club. So he's very grateful for the financial support that we've given to him, and in return we've got an excellent video that lasts an hour, and Jimmy's featured a number of our members like Tony Parks and Steve Elliott, Alex Bruce, Trevor Meredith. So he's done a really very good job, and we're very pleased and thankful for Jimmy. So that was basically what Jimmy would have been saying. Thanks for your support, thanks for your kind donation, because his day work has dried up, of course, because he can't get into the care homes and nursing homes officially. So he's doing outdoor broadcasts now. So that's where we're up to with Jimmy O'Donnell. With regard to the main video itself, the 1-hour video that is produced with the support and permission of Sporting Memories, we will be sending out a link on an email to all our members and friends from the Chorley and Leyland groups tomorrow on Thursday, and you'll be able to watch it at your leisure. It lasts about an hour, and I'm sure you'll really enjoy it. But it's one way of bringing the Sporting Memories, Lancashire Memories video into your home via a link on an email that will be sent out by Carol on behalf of the Chorley group and myself on behalf of the Leyland Club tomorrow. So that's where we're up to. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. It's well worthwhile, and it's very interesting. There you go. Thank you.
Okay, can I just...
Yeah, Chris.
Yeah. I don't know whether you've seen the email that Jed's forwarded to us from Jimmy that's got that clip on it.
Yes.
About 12:30, so I didn't know whether you'd seen it or not. I've only seen it when I've opened up my emails to get into this session now. But it did say...
yeah, I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you after this.
Keith, I just sent it to Carol because you've already got the link, so I just sent it to Carol. That's all.
That's it.
As discussed.
Hello, Jed. Good to see you. Thanks for that. We'll talk again about how we're going to get it out to our club friends and guests tomorrow, practically. Carol, Jed, and myself.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Okie dokes.
Thank you. Back to you.
Looking forward to that, because the one that we got, and we saw a copy of it as well, was the 2-minute filler. We actually, when we had it on our email, and then we put it on, I watched it yesterday, and then when I put it on today, it had gone. So I don't know whether it's just a technical thing because the three of us have found, Darren and Keith have found that. But anyway, before I've got a quiz where we're going to talk about Jimmy's what Jimmy had actually put on the video and some of the things they were bringing back memories. Before we do that, just to throw it, any subject that's happened over the past 2 or 3 days that anybody would like to start a discussion off or like to, make a comment on without going into all the two dippy details. Is there anything? Yes, Barry. Yes, Barry. Just a minute. We're going to come to you now, Barry.
Yes, okay. You with me now?
We're with you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. We've been watching a series on Netflix called The English Game.
Now, that's funny you should mention that because, sorry to interrupt you, I've got that down. I've watched the series and it's you were saying it's brilliant, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. It is. And it mentions the inauguration of the Lancashire Football Association as well. And about the Weavers, the flight of the Weavers, the Darwin Weavers, who started the English Game by going down to London. In actual fact, on the film, they went to play it in Liverpool. They didn't go to London.
but it's the story. It's the story of of football. How it started with regard to the FA Cup, and of course, all the Etonians and all the public school guys with the money. They were all on the FA executive committee. I'm not spoiling the story because this is the setting. And then these upstarts from up north, this Darwin team who were backed by the local mill owner. And he said, Craig Parkinson, the actor, played it brilliant. So we want to win to show the people up north. And it also shows the culture as well. So you've got the streets and you've got the deprivation that they went through.
That's right.
The host, I thought that's one of the best television series I've ever seen.
Really good. And they paid a couple of lads to come and play from Scotland, haven't they?
That's right, from
Partick.
Yeah.
They played at Partick.
They decided that the people that died with the Angola, they wanted to win it, so they decided to go to Blackburn.
That's right. That's right.
Move on from there, Janet. All right.
Yeah.
It wasn't Blackburn Rovers. It was Blackburn. All right.
Yes.
But yeah, it's anybody gets a chance to go on. It's on Netflix. It's called The English Game, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's worth a watch. It's good.
It is. It's certainly worth a watch. It really is. Right, no, nobody else? Well, which I was going to save the quiz until later, but the quiz might throw up one or two things. First of all, a question. Excuse me. In a Punch and Judy show, what's the dog called? In a Punch and Judy show, you'll have to put your hand up. I keep saying Chris, it's Carol. Go on, Carol. No, can we go to Carol?
Is it
Go
Pickles?
on.
Is it Pickles?
No.
No.
Pickles? Pickles is the dog. Pickles.
Oh no, but I thought that was going to be your tenuous. That was going to be your link. You see.
No. Pickles in the Punch and Judy show. This is the most famous dog in the world who found the FA Cup after it had gone missing.
Yeah, well.
No, that wasn't. I was meaning. I was going to add something onto that. But so what was it? What was the dog called? Anybody know? Yeah, sorry, Graham. Graham, wait just a minute. Yes, Graham.
Yeah, was it Patch?
No, it wasn't called Patch.
Oh, right.
Oh,
Okay.
you know this. No. I'll tell you, the dog was called Toby. The dog was called Toby. What I was going to add, I was just going to add on to that, is how many people, when they were younger, used to go and watch the Punch and Judy shows? People think that they finished. They haven't finished. I'll tell you what. Margaret, we'll go to Mags. Just a minute. We're coming with you now, Mags. All right.
Hello.
So where did you watch the Punch and Judy show?
I really can't remember, but I remember watching it.
Well, that was a great conversation. Right. Mark, did you want to add anything to such riveting conversation? Would you? We're going to come to you now, Mark. We'll just unmute you. Yeah, he's waving.
Sorry, where are we going? Oh, Mike.
Mike.
Sorry.
Yes,
Can
Mike,
you hear? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Well, we didn't have Punch and Judy in Northern Ireland, so I never saw Punch and Judy till I came to England, and that's when I took my kids to Blackpool and saw it at Blackpool.
Yeah. And
All the seaside places had it, hadn't they? Blackpool, Southport, these sort of places.
That's right. Yeah. And everybody, it's actually, Graham wants to say something else. We'll come back to you. Go on, Graham.
Yeah, I was saying they have one still at Llandudno. It's there all the time.
I was just gonna mention that. That's the only one that I know that's still going. And we went last 3-4 summers ago with my sister and husband, and we had a walk round, and there must have been 30 kids sat on the floor, cross-legged, riveted by this Punch and Judy show. And it was absolutely brilliant. It really was. But they've modified it now for health and safety. You'll appreciate this, Keith. You know that Punch used to hit his wife with a stick, the slap stick, which is the one that's split, that sounds like, makes noise because it's split. And because it was tended to be that it wasn't proper and correct now because of, you know, health and safety or whatever. I mean, she wasn't giving it, but it was giving the wrong impression. So they banned him. He can't use, Punch can't hit her with a stick anymore now. They just have to argue. He could probably film that at our house. But when we talk, I've got to tell you a lovely story. I used to, when I worked for the Houghton Weavers, before we went fully professional, I worked at the county court in Wigan, clerk as the registrar's clerk and the judge's clerk. And I came in one day to the Registrar Grundy. He was in his late 60s, bald head, little wisp of hair. And I said to him, "Sir, have you had a good weekend, sir?" He said, "Yes, I have indeed, Norman." And he was all very oldie-tonian and very fair. I said, "Oh, did you?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "What do you get?" He said, "I've been to Llandudno." And I said, "Oh, have you been to, was it lovely?" "Oh, yes," he said, "for all those children." And I said, "Oh, what you're watching the Punch and Judy show?" I said, "Oh, that's good." I said, "So did you enjoy the show?" He said, "I was the show." And it just shows you, he'd done this for 60 odd years. He was a judge at Wigan County Court. And he said, "You don't believe me, Norman." And he opened his case and he got out the little puppet, you know, and the little thing they put in there. "That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it." And I said, "Could you actually do that at one of the, he said, "No, I can't do that at the trial, Norman." You know, but I can imagine that, a judge of the court, and he was there playing the Punch and Judy. Absolutely superb. Let's see, in which city would you find the Spanish Steps? Anybody know? Janet. Yes, Janet, just a bit. We'll come to yes.
In Rome.
In Rome. Have you ever been to Rome?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. So whereabouts in Rome? What were the places that you wanted to go and see?
The Trevi Fountain.
Yeah.
Up to the top of the Vatican.
Up to the top of the Vatican?
Yeah, into the dome, right on the top.
Oh, right.
And it's like a spiral, getting slower, steeper and steeper. It makes you a bit sickly.
Yeah. People always...
Sorry?
What?
No, so is it?
We saw where the Prime Minister lives, or whoever.
Yeah.
Can't remember much else now. It's a long time ago.
How long did it take you to find the Trevi Fountain?
Not very long. We had a good map.
I'm just going to say, Andrew is listening now. We were there with the family, and as we walked round, he just got his phone, these mobile phones, and we got off the tourist bus, and we couldn't find, and we followed him with the mobile phone, and you got it because it's literally down between, you know, two big ones, and then you just turn a corner, it's there, isn't it? It
is, yeah. We went to the Colosseum as well. Remember that, and the Forum.
Yeah.
All the Roman ruins.
Yeah. So how long were you there?
About 4 nights, I think.
I was going to say, it's one of them days, so you can't see Rome in a day, can you?
Definitely not.
No, we actually got off a ship and walked around. By the time we got there and walked around for 10, 20 minutes, we got on the bus and let that do the work. But it's a beautiful city, isn't it?
It is, and all that history, right? You know, just turn the corner and the history's there.
Yeah. And again, it doesn't matter, from our age, it doesn't matter what age we are. When we walk round and we see something that is part of history and has been mentioned over the years in all the films and everything, you tend to be quite childlike, don't you? The excitement's there, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, lovely. It's a lovely place. Everybody gets a chance. You want to go, it's lovely. Right, what 3 colours make up the flag of Norway? Anybody know? What 3 colours? Yes, Mike. Just a minute. Yeah, go on.
Are they red, white and a blue?
Yes, they are indeed. Yeah. Have you been to Norway?
I haven't been to Norway. I'd like to go to Norway, but I've not been. I've been to Sweden. I've been to Malmo, but not to Norway.
Right. So what was the Malmo trip? Was that a football match?
Well, it was a cultural jubilee from England across to Fishguard to Denmark, all the way through Denmark, across the famous bridges, because I'm a bridge engineer by trade.
All right.
And across the famous bridges that link Denmark with Sweden.
Is that one of the bridges where when we were on a cruise ship, we were going under a bridge, and the captain told us all to duck because there's only about 20 feet between the bridge.
I suspect it wasn't that one, Norman, because I think the bridges in Denmark to Sweden, there's a couple of bridges, then there's an element of tunnel, which obviously allows the ships then to sort of sail through.
Oh, I see what you mean, right?
Yeah, so it's a bit of tunnel and a bit of bridge, quite a few bridges, yeah.
Yeah, but if you go on a cruise when they've sorted all the cruises out, if you want to go to the Norwegian fjords.
Yes.
Magnificent.
Great.
Really magnificent. Right. In Doctor Who, TARDIS, T-A-R-D-I-S. Anybody know? No? A lot of people say it's time and relative distance in space. It's time and relative dimension in space. And a question which has got a link, ironically, in what year was JFK assassinated? Jeff? Oh, he's into his dates here.
1963.
It was 1963.
Yeah.
What's the link between Doctor Who and when Kennedy was assassinated? Anybody know? Yes, Barry? Sorry, we'll come to you, Barry, when we unmute you. We're just waiting for Darren. Anne and Barry. Darren?
Episode of Doctor Who.
Yeah, sorry, say that again. We've got you now.
Was that the first episode of Doctor Who?
It was. The first episode was on a Friday night, and JFK was assassinated on the Saturday. I mean, it's a good trick. See, it's fun, he knows.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, right. I was getting worried then. I'm just going to say, Boris, wait for me. You know. When we were talking about it, I was thinking about a discussion item. What I would do with regard to a discussion item, and I've got a couple of notes here. And I was thinking about, what about comedy? They always say comedy is a subjective subject. You know, it's you either like somebody or you don't like. Let's talk about favourite comedians. Anybody want to talk about their favourite comedian? Anybody? Yeah, go on, Barry.
Am I switched on?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're on now.
Got to be Peter Kay. He's got to be the best ever.
Right. Why?
Well, because I think he isn't blue.
Yeah.
I think he appeals to everybody. He appeals to older people. He appeals to younger people, and I think he's just a very funny guy. He's got funny bones.
Yeah.
I think the only other one that has been like him has been Billy Connolly. But as Billy Connolly got older, he got bluer and swore more. So I didn't think he was funny as funny when he got older as he was when he was younger.
Would you say Peter Kay was funnier than Ken Dodd?
Different types of comedian, but yeah, I've laughed a lot at Ken Dodd at some of his really long shows that have been that are supposed to have been 2 hours and have gone to about 3.5.
Yeah, well, it's longer than that. The show starts at 7:30 and he finishes at 12:30.
That's right. Yeah, and I think you sort of go through and you think, I'm going to remember that joke, and he's told so many through his act that you don't remember any of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carol, sorry, Matthew. Yes, Matthew. Oh, he's gone. Where's he gone? I've lost Matthew.
Yeah, he's disappeared for some reason.
Oh, right. Anybody else? Pick a different. I've got 1 or 2 suggestions. Let's talk about some of the older ones. I've got Tommy Cooper, Frankie Howard, Les Dawson. Anybody went to see any of them? Anybody like the comedy? We've got Graham. Yeah, Graham again. Go on.
I really like Les Dawson. He's very dry, wasn't he? And then the piano playing, it was absolutely hilarious, you know. And you see his statue, don't you, at Lytham? He's got a statue, or is it St Anne's, isn't it? There's a statue.
Yeah. Yeah, he was born in Bury and then made a bit of money, went to living in Lytham.
Right, yeah.
Which is what you do in our area. If you make some money, you go and live in Lytham. If you make money and you're from Liverpool, you go and live in Formby.
Right, yeah, that sounds right.
It was a lovely man. We did quite a bit of work with Les Dawson. You know, the king of the mother-in-law jokes.
That's right, yeah. Hilarious. With Roy Kinnear, was it?
No, it was when he did Sissy and Ada, Roy Barraclough.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, you know, yeah, absolutely. Sorry, Mags. Yes, Mags. Just a sec. We're with you now, love.
What about Bob Monkhouse and Jimmy Tarbuck?
Oh, right. Yeah, Bob Monkhouse.
They were very quick, weren't they?
Did you ever see Bob Monkhouse live? No. He had the reputation of being the best ad-libber in show business. I saw him once. Janet will probably tell me. What was the name of the cabaret club in Blackburn? Janet?
From Blackburn, I don't know.
Oh, you're not from...
Tony will know.
Who'll know?
Tony.
Tony, what was the name of the cabaret club in Blackburn? Natalie, no?
I don't know, but Natalie might know.
Does Natalie know? Do you know Natalie?
Yes.
Natalie, no. No.
From that corner.
They had the Cranberry Fold in Darwin, didn't they?
Yeah.
Cranberry Fold. Jeff, sorry, Jeff, I missed your signal then. Just a minute, we've not got you yet.
Have you not? It wasn't the Cavendish, was it?
I think the Cavendish was Darwin. Anyway, I saw when I saw Bob Monkhouse, his routine, he used to walk on stage and say, "I'm not telling jokes. All I'll do." Oh, sorry, John. Were you going to signal then, John?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Tommy Cooper I was going to talk about, Norman, but maybe you want to carry on with Bob Monkhouse. I'll just
tell you the little story with Bob Monkhouse. And he used to go on stage and he used to say, "Right, you give me 3 subjects and I will do 5 gags about it." And they said 3 characters. And he started off by saying, the one about the policeman, the robber, and something else. And he'd tell you 5 gags. And then somebody turned around and said, "All right, a one-eyed farmer with a 3-legged cow walking down the main street in Manchester." And do 5 gags about that. And some of the suggestions people threw at him were absolutely ridiculous. But he was an absolute genius. He really was. One of the most creative men that ever went to business. And you mentioned there, John, you know, one of the most creative ones with Tommy Cooper.
Yeah, Norman. Just picking up on Bob Monkhouse, I'm a bit of a historian generally, but of course Bob Monkhouse was probably the man with the biggest library of comedy ever. I mean, he had all sorts, right, going back to the silent comedians and Buster Keaton and Harry Langdon and Harold Lloyd and all that lot. He was incredible. He just had a load of stuff. Just if I can go on to Tommy Cooper, I saw Tommy Cooper twice. Once in Blackpool, and I don't know whether Roger was there, but it was a choir trip, Roger. I don't know whether you'd left the choir then, but we went on a choir trip and saw him there. But I saw him again a bit later, about 6-7 years later, in Torquay. And I'll never forget this. He started off his routine right at the beginning. The curtains opened and nothing happened. It was black and there was just his voice off the stage. You might have seen this, Norman.
Yeah.
And I was there with, I think, my parents. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I was in Torquay on holiday. I was about mid to late teens.
That'd be the Princess Theatre.
Yeah, the Princess Theatre. Bang on. Yeah, Princess Theatre. And there was a guy there who would probably be, he seemed old to me there. He's probably on his mid to late 30s, with his wife and his 2 kids who were probably about 8, 9, something like that. And Tommy Cooper started to talk. He hadn't gone on the stage. He's saying something like, "Oh, where are you? Where? How do I get on?" I don't know. And this guy started to laugh. And he didn't get on for he eventually came on after about 3 or 4 minutes, said, "I can't find it," or whatever it was doing in the room. And this guy had slipped down his chair and he was virtually on the floor. He just could not stopped laughing. And his wife and kids just didn't know what to do. He just had completely gone, and I'll never forget. He wanted he had to say nothing to make you laugh, but he could say anything to make you laugh. He was brilliant, absolutely.
I mean, you talk about that. That was his main intro. I saw him at Blighters at Farnworth once, and he did it for about 3 or 4 minutes.
That's right, yeah.
11:30, 12 at night. Please welcome our star guest, Mr. Tommy Cooper, and everybody cheering, applaud, blah blah blah.
Yeah, yeah.
There was nothing.
Nothing.
And then all you heard was. Listen, I'm stuck in the dressing room. I can't get out of the dressing room. And then he got a glass. He got a glass, and he obviously was like a bottle, and he's thinking, I'll just have a bit of a drink. And the audience are falling about, and he's not even on stage.
That's right. Absolutely incredible. I've never seen anything like that in my life. This guy was completely gone. Absolutely gone. He was on the floor.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Just wanted talking to everybody else. I'll come to Carol, because I think, let's be looking at, I think you're the youngest, Carol. Okay, that's why I'm coming to you. Okay. I'm being gentlemanly about this, Carol. No, when you talk about some of the older comedians that we watched, I mean, you must have seen them on television as well. What do you reckon about the modern comedians? What modern are you in? What comedy are you into?
I like they put the quick one-liners. I like the likes of Tim Vine and Milton Jones, James Acaster.
Yeah,
I like them sort of people. And again, I mean, Milton Jones, going back to the not being blue, not swearing. I mean, he's like born again Christian and doesn't do all that. You know, and a lot of his is.
Who's that? Who's that? Who does that, Carol?
Milton Jones.
Milton Jones, yeah.
We've seen him live a couple of times. And he's been absolutely brilliant. And I've seen James Acaster a couple of times, just at Chorley Little Theatre as well. So,
is that the comedy club?
Just the Little Theatre where they have all sorts of.
They actually have a comedy club at the
top. They have the Jason Manford Comedy Club, but a lot of the comedians do try out. Because it's a small venue, they're trying the stuff out in the smaller venues. So Phil Jupiter's there not so long ago as well, and like Rob Newman's been on, and I think John Bishop's been on, but he's sold out before you even hear about it.
That's what they do. They say to everybody, it's a lot cheaper, and they say, right, we're doing a big tour, so we need to try the gags out with a live audience, don't they?
Yeah, but we've had some good names there.
Tim Vine, I think, holds the world record for the number of gags told.
I think so, yeah.
Melissa.
I like him. And
I've got Melissa. It's not Melissa, is it? Is it Melissa?
No.
You gave us a wave. Is it Melissa? Yes. Right, just a minute. We'll come to you in a second, Melissa. Yeah, we've got you now.
It won't let me unmute her, unfortunately. I think she might have to do it herself.
How's that?
Yeah, that's better. That's better.
Hey.
You were waving there, Melissa. Go on.
Yeah, no, just a bit of a drier one. But has anyone ever heard of Chubby Brown? Roy Chubby Brown.
Yeah, taking into account this may well go public on YouTube. You better be careful whatever you say now, Melissa. Right.
All right. Well, maybe I'll leave that one then.
All right. He was at Acquired Taste. In case anybody doesn't know the reputation, Roy Chubby Brown was very, very, very blue, and he refused to do a television series. He was very popular. Used to sell out all the theatres.
He's still going.
He's still going.
Yeah.
We did a summer season. We did 12 summer seasons at Southport Theatre in the Floral Hall. Now, if you know the theatres, you go down the steps, turn left for the Floral Hall, and then right for the theatre. We did every Friday for 15 weeks. And it was our audience. We were a family single and family audience. And Roy Chubby Brown was in the theatre. And these 4 people, mum, dad, and 2 younger kids, were on the front row watching us. And then when we came to our break, and we came on in the second half, this guy at the front shouted, "When's Chubby Brown on?" And he'd come into our concert on the left-hand side instead of going to watch Chubby. And his kids were about 8-year-old. And I thought, I can't believe this guy sat through an hour. Oh, right, yeah. There's a full sample. That's Roy Chubby Brown. Yeah. We did well to get them. Well done, Andrew. Oh, I'm not saying Darren. Well done, Darren. But it was very, very funny, I've got to say. I saw a couple of excerpts. I mean, I didn't actually see his show, but actually on YouTube, and there were a couple of things here and there, a bit too, you know, but certainly if you're into that kind of sense of humour. But I can't believe that we did, this guy and his family sat through a full hour of our first half thinking that we were Roy Chubby Brown material. He must have been. And then he went to listen to Roy Chubby Brown. I thought, what a contrast that was. Yeah. That's great. Thanks, Darren. That's great, that. Yeah. Anybody know his real name? Are we taking these off now? Darren? Yeah, then we can see some pretty people. That's right. No, his real name is Royston Vasey, which, if you know your League of Gentlemen, is the village where they actually recorded that. But yeah, it's what about something like Fawlty Towers or Monty Python? Anybody really go? You know, in our generation, really go for something like Monty Python? No. Yeah, Jeff, were you into Monty Python?
Oh, big way when I was younger. Yeah, massive. Yeah.
No, it just shows you comedy is a weird thing. I thought they were all right, but I never really got it. I mean, they're still a cult following. I never got into them, and certainly Fawlty Towers, I enjoyed the laugh, but people used to rave over them.
Yeah, I just enjoyed the shows. I thought they were good. But there again, I think if you were watching with quite a few people, as I was in the student days, it made a big difference. Big difference.
That's very funny. Yeah, you've hit the key word there. Definitely student humour.
Yeah, I think it was at the time. Yeah. Mm.
You just wanted to be a maverick, didn't you? That's what it was.
Just wanted to drink, I think, in those days.
Well, that's a fair comment. That's a good. Yeah. What about comedy shows? What about Morecambe and Wise? Sorry, Mike, were you going to say something then, Mike? Go on.
I was going to say something other than Morecambe and Wise, but I mean, Morecambe and Wise, I do remember them because they were fantastic. Actually, my dad's favourite were Morecambe and Wise, Tommy Cooper, those sorts of comedians. Yeah. But Morecambe and Wise is timeless. If you look at what's on the telly now, the clips, they are just timeless, aren't they? They're just comedy all the time. You don't, you can watch them again and again and still fall back laughing.
Yeah.
Especially the ones he did with the celebrities. The celebrities came on, didn't they? And they did bits with them. That was amazing, really.
Well, it's the fact that it'll never happen again. When they used to be the Christmas show, well, I remember, our generation will remember the Morecambe was Christmas. We used to look forward to that whole year. And you got something like 23 million people watching that one program. It'll never happen again because there's so many other television programs and streaming services. But and the classic must be the Andre Previn act, the Andre Previn set that he did. Absolutely beautiful. I don't know whether you know this about the Andre Previn one, was the fact that Andre Previn, who was obviously the classical conductor, would never, hadn't got to the studio in time because he'd flown in from to rehearse the whole routine. They hadn't rehearsed it with him. So when they were doing it, and it was live then, of course, when they were doing it, they said Eric Morecambe was really nervous because he thought, and he just said to him, you've got to play this serious, just play it serious. And he said he went through it, and he said it's one of the classic sketches. And I thought Andre Previn was brilliant. How he kept a straight face all the way through that, I don't know. But it was, absolutely wonderful. Yeah, Anne and Barry. Yes, Barry?
Didn't Eric Morecambe call him Andrew Preview?
He called him Andrew Preview, yeah. And the fact that he's got his head there, but he's playing the wrong note, the classic lines. But you can always tell if a comedian is going down well. When they used to do the live shows years ago, when they had an orchestra at the back, then you watch the orchestra, who were always quite cynical because they'd heard all the gags. And if you watch that Morecambe and Wise show, the orchestra and the back are falling about laughing because they know they're thinking he's talking to Andre Previn. This is one of the biggest names in our industry, and yet because he was taking they were just falling about laughing. It was really good, absolute classic. Anybody else got any memories? No. Anybody else want to talk about any particular subject? Any sporting, any yes, Mike, go on. Sorry, we'll be with you in a sec, Mike. Yeah, we're with you now, yeah.
I've brought a friend along today. I'd just like to introduce him.
Yeah?
Just give me 1 second.
This is worrying me, this.
Hello. Bonjour.
Have we got any United fans in the room? Oh, that's good. There's nobody here.
Yeah, nobody here.
Carol, who's a Cities fan, had just covered her eyes up here.
When the seagulls follow the trawler, it's because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea.
Yeah, we all understood that at the time, didn't we? Yeah. So when you what first made you buy that?
Well, I didn't buy it.
Right.
My son worked on the movie, looking for Eric.
All right.
And at the end of the film, the film was made by Ken Loach. Eric Cantona approached Ken Loach to make a film, and Ken Loach didn't really want to make a film with Cantona because he didn't want to do one about superstars.
Yeah.
So after he said no, he sat down with his fellow director, and they both came up with a scenario which they felt they could make a film. And it was based on a postman called Eric, who was a football fanatic. He was a United fanatic. And his favourite player was Eric Cantona. And therefore, Ken Loach put all that together into making this film, Seeking Eric. At the end of the film, there was a busload of Eric's friends who went to a football match. And it was all actually based around, apparently, FC United. It was based on them. At the end of the film, all these guys get off the coach. I don't know if you've seen the film, but they're all wearing...
The film. No, sorry, I haven't seen the film. Sorry, Mike.
They all get off the coach. There's 50 of them, and they all get off wearing Eric Cantona masks, the same as this. So apparently 100 were made, and everybody who was on the film, plus the cast, got a signed one. And it's actually signed, I don't know if you can see on the ear there.
All right, yeah.
Eric Cantona.
Right.
So there's only 100 of them, so it might be worth a bit. So I've asked my son that I'll look after his room because he's...
I bet he wants a percentage of whatever you sell it for.
I'm sure he will. Well, I won't be selling it, don't worry.
No.
One of those priceless things, isn't it? You'll never see another one, yeah.
That's lovely, man. Mags, you were going to say something there, yes?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, love you.
We went on holiday once to Thassos, which is a small island in Greece. And every night we went to this particular bar and the owner looked like Eric Cantona. So at a certain time every night, he used to shut the bar and he used to say, right, autographs. He used to put his shirt on and he used to get all these autographs. And he had all these photographs of himself looking like Eric Cantona. And he was signing them all. Remember?
Of course, yeah.
It was a good impression as well.
Yeah. Did you buy one?
Yeah.
So at least you've got one trophy then, haven't you, Steve? Sorry, that was low. That was a low blow. Yeah. But yeah, mind you, you've got to turn. When we're watching, I don't know whether you've been watching the Match of the Day program where they've been picking the best goalkeeper, the best this, the best. And I've been watching some old film, new film stories, sports stories as well. And they were saying the story about Eric Cantona. Was he going from Leeds United, and they actually got him for, was it $1 million? Was it something like $1 million, something like that? Which was an absolute bargain, but absolutely turned Manchester United around, the whole club around. So I thought he was brilliant. I thought his arrogance was magnificent.
Yeah.
I remember him chipping. I can't remember it. Well, it might have been Blackburn. I don't know, but he chipped the ball into the corner, and then as the ball went in the net, and it was right in the last minute, and they needed the point, he just stood there like a gladiator, chest out, and then just turned around and, as much as to say, "Adore me." You'll know what it's like, Steve. You'll have had that to Preston North End, won't you? Yeah, Tony, you'd had all of the Blackburn Rovers, wouldn't you, Tony? There must have been some great moments that you standing there taking the glory. Can you just demute him just for a sec?
No.
Tony, you can hear me now, Tony? Can you?
I can hear you. Yeah.
I was looking at your statistics the other day. You scored something like 38 goals in your career.
Right.
As a left back. Can you remember your best goal you scored?
Best goal I scored. No, I can't remember.
Can't remember. You can't remember the best goal you scored, but I was amazed as the old-fashioned left back, wasn't it?
He was a left back.
Yeah. But I mean, the fact that you scored 38 goals from that position is amazing in itself, isn't it?
Yeah, it is amazing.
Yeah.
You might never get there.
There's one. If we can come back to the comedy thing, there's one program that we've not mentioned. And I always maintain that on television, the best comedy programs are the ones that have got more than one character in. Because you don't get bored with the one character. It's all different characters. And for me, the best program on television, comedy program at the moment, is Would I Lie to You? How many people have seen Would I Lie to You? Yeah. How many people have liked it? Yeah, everybody. I think the repartee with David Mitchell and Lee Mack is absolutely brilliant. And you talk about comedy series with more than one character. I'll give you two: Fools and Horses and Dinner Ladies. And I think they were both classic. Anybody want to make any comment about either of those? Either which was your favourite character? Go on, Carol. Which one are we talking about?
Dinner Ladies. I just think Victoria Wood was a genius.
Yes.
The characters in that as well. There's so many. So obviously, you've got Mavis out of Coronation Street and Anne Reid.
Yeah.
Maxine Peake has gone on to great things as well.
I'll just name drop a fact now. Andrew, my lad, who's obviously doing the sound engineering and everything. Maxine Peake's from West Horton. She was in the same class as Andrew.
She was, yes, she was. Nice girl.
It's what, Andrew?
She was a nice girl, really nice person as well.
Yeah.
I remember.
That's enough now, Andrew. You're not allowed to talk anymore, okay?
Just paying royalties.
No, I'm only joking. Sorry, I'll come back to the second. Steve's holding his hand up, or Mag's holding his hand up. Go on, what do you want to say then, Steve?
Only Fools and Horses.
Only Fools and Horses.
Absolutely brilliant. Love it.
What, did you have one favourite character?
It's got to be Del.
Yeah, Del Boy.
Del Boy.
Yeah. A lot. Is that because you've got a lot in common with him? Got a deal for you, babe. Got a deal. Yeah. Mange too. Absolutely brilliant.
He's brilliant, isn't he?
Yeah. Carol, what were you going to say? Something you were saying about Dinner Ladies.
Yeah, I just think anything Victoria Wood does. I mean, we always laugh, obviously going off to Dinner Ladies, but just Victoria Wood in particular. When we got the German aerobics clips to brilliance, and like we sort of said that's us when we're doing step aerobics. We are channeling our inner Victoria Wood there, holding up a step at the back of the room and whatever. But yeah.
And I've seen quite a few documentaries on the series, but what I respected Victoria, but the fact that she was a very funny lady, a very funny writer, she never took any of the taglines, the punchlines, for her character. Because they were all individual characters, as Fools and Horses were, that a certain line would fit that character, and each one had a personality. Trigger, in Fools and Horses, everybody kept calling him Dave. All right, Dave. It's not Dave. He said, well, why does everybody keep calling you Dave? He said, they don't. It's only you that. But it's Nicholas.
His award for the brush, isn't it?
Yeah, oh,
the same brush.
I've had the same brush for 30 odd years.
I've got a watch like that. It's only had 6 new batteries and 3 new straps.
But it's classic stuff. And you talk about. I mean, I've just thought of another one. You talk about Dad's Army. When you look at the context and you try and explain Dad's Army to some people, and you think, well, you know, it sounds a bit corny. But there was all these different characters. John, did you want to say something, John?
Yeah, just it's probably my favourite show, I think, Dad's Army. I remember it going around at the time. But I'm just doing a little, if you want to, the radio series is so good. I'm getting up that little bit earlier. I think it's either 8 o'clock or 8:30 on a Tuesday. Radio 4 Extra. I don't know whether anybody else listens to Radio 4 Extra, but if you like the Goons, you like Hancock.
Oh, brilliant.
You like Round the Horn, all that. Between 8 and 9 o'clock, Radio 4 Extra in the morning. 12 and 1, lunchtime. And then I think it's 7 and 8 in the evening. So you've got 3 goes to listen to it. But
Radio 4 Extra?
Radio 4 Extra, yeah.
Well, I can guarantee, John, I won't be listening between 8 and 9 because I don't want to. But I might well get, because you mentioned classic comedy from the radio, the old radio, Round the Horn.
Round the Horn, I think is brilliant. Marty Feldman and Barry Took wrote the script for Round the Horn, and I mean, I didn't particularly like Marty Feldman as a comedian, but as a writer, he was superb. Round the Horn, and the two. Well, of course, you're not allowed to do it these days, but the two, I'm allowed to. Homosexuals in the show.
Yeah. Kenneth Williams
and Hugh Paddock. Oh, fantastic! Absolutely brilliant. But anyway, my little advert for old radio comedy.
Yeah, and yet some of the key comedians, when they went to television, black and white television, didn't make the transition to television because they weren't particularly visual. With it being radio, they had to create the picture.
Yeah. I never thought Hancock was as good on TV actually as he was on radio. I thought Hancock on the radio was superb. He was okay on the TV, but I thought Hancock on the radio was better. But that's purely my personal view. But I agree.
Is that because watching it on television, you can see everything that's being created, but if you're listening to it on radio, like you're listening to a program, you're using your imagination. Letting you create what you feel as though it should be like.
It's a different sort of comedy, though, isn't it? I think Dad's Army translates quite well because there's a lot of punchlines and wordplay in Dad's Army, which is fine on the radio, and then there are extra elements which go in on the TV. Although when you think about it, there was a lot of slapstick in Dad's Army, which I personally didn't particularly enjoy, but it's all about strap lines and characters and you stupid boy, the classic one.
Stupid boy, Pike.
But they're all over the place. I mean, I think it's as good on the radio as it was on the telly. I must admit, I think it's great. Yeah.
And then when they made the film recently, and I thought, oh, you shouldn't make a film about a classic thing like that. I never saw it, but I've talked to quite a few other people, and they said it worked. The characters actually, but I can't imagine myself watching the film with that. It's the original characters that you know.
No, I heard about it. I didn't watch it. No, I probably feel the same. I haven't not seen it, but I mean, they were classic English actors. I mean, John Le Mesurier as a Sergeant Wilson, and I forgot the name of the actor who played Captain Mannering. What was his name? Arthur Lowe, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Of course, started life in Coronation Street.
Yeah.
What's Leonard Swindley, wasn't he, in Coronation Street? So I used to watch it when I was a kid when it first started. I watched Coronation Street for about 50 years, but I used to watch it for about the first 2 or 3 years when it started in the 60s. And he played Mr. Swindley, who had the corner shop, and Miss Nugent was his sidekick, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good.
All right, I think
Keith wants to get in. I think
we just woke up Keith McIntosh. Sorry, I want to say something, Keith.
Hello.
Yeah, did you want to say something? Go on, we're with you.
Yeah, I'm mindful of time. It's approaching 3 o'clock.
Oh, right.
Starters. It is. See, you've had such a good time. It's just gone like one of your gigs, Norman. Like clockwork.
I was waiting for the comment there, McIntosh. I was waiting for the comment.
I left the space. Timing's everything. So thank you very much. Just to say, I don't know if Colin Pass, Bill Yates and Margaret and Tony Goodyear have been listening in, but if you have, it's been great that you've been able to join us. If you haven't, hopefully we'll see you next week. Mel from Preston North End. Mel, you probably need a lie down after this. Well, you spent an hour with Norman Prince, but you'll get used to it.
I really enjoyed it. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. It's great. So brilliant. Thank you very much, one and all. Look after yourself. Take care. Stay safe. And all being well, we'll see you at 2 o'clock next Wednesday afternoon. Thank you very much, one and all. Thank you.